Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Ant. Today I'm going to be talking about ATNM again, so this is an update. You'll find my other DD in the description below where you can find the previous catalysts coming up and an insight through the company's operations and finances and everything in between. Today I'm going to be doing technical analysis and latest news and update on that. So I recommend watching this one before watching the other one. Make sure to drop a like to this video to help this channel grow, and subscribe to this channel and turn your notifications on to receive the latest added news. So without further ado, let's look into it. So 1 month, 1 day here. What we're seeing right off the bat is that the MACD is probably curving down. That's a little bit of a dangerous sign, and as we can see again, that the volume is losing down a little. So that again is another dangerous sign that a trend might be breaking down. It's above the trading action zone where reversals usually happen, but it still has a chance to do so. Moving averages still look very bullish, with 10 SMA being above 30 EMA, and the purple line, the 50 SMA, and the 200 SMA are both under the stock price. Now the average directional index is sitting at 47.44. Once it hits, and it actually did hit 50 sometime, I believe, on the 31st. It does usually give a warning sign. Very much closer to 50 is usually where it tells you that the trend might be seeing a resistance or having a hard time moving forward. In terms of the willing percent R, it's sitting in really close to the overbought situation here, but it has been for quite a little. Momentum seems to be losing just a little bit the momentum it had ever since the 27th, so that's a little bit decreasing. Now moving on towards the 1 hour perspective, what we get to see here is that the stock price is under the 50 SMA, and that's a little bit bearish here. And last time it did, it really crossed down all the way to the 50-cent mark. Now it's still above the 200 SMA, so that's bullish. But what you get to see here is that the 30 EMA is creeping up a little bit above the 10 SMA, and they're touching. So that might be a little bit of a dangerous sign there. In terms of the MACD, what you get to see is the MACD is actually curving up on the 1 hour perspective. So there might be a little bit of a jump either later on in the day or early on in the pre-market on Wednesday. What we get to see on the ADX, though, it suggests that there's a sloppy movement with not a strong trend in either direction, and the willing percent R is being a little bit oversold during the day and is sitting currently at a neutral. Momentum seems to be a little bit sloppy here, not a lot to see. Now moving on towards averages, what we get to see is that the stock is way above the moving average band. The top of the moving average band currently sitting at 0.52, middle is 0.48, and the bottom is 0.43. And here is the Fibonacci retracements that I drew from the last time, so I didn't change this one out. We're seeing a support sitting at 0.58 currently on Fibonacci retracements, with the current resistance above that sitting, let's say around 0.6. Above that, we're seeing a 0.61, and above that, we're seeing a 0.64 in Fibonacci retracement of 0.66 in terms of resistance. Now, moving on to supports, we're sitting at 0.57 after the 0.58. We're seeing another one around 0.55, and then another one of 0.53, and then a Fibonacci support 0.52, and then 0.5. 0.48, and then we're 0.47 of Fibonacci support. Now, in terms of trend lines here, it's a little bit harder to draw, but I would suggest that this could be perhaps the trend line we're looking at, since it had been a little bit more stable previously, and we're seeing the bottom of the trend line is sitting at 0.51 currently, although we might see from 0.5, so we might see it to 0.52 early on in the morning. Another trend line you might consider is this one, but it has been broken, so the current trend line is up to date, sitting right at 0.57. So by tomorrow, it probably will be sitting on 0.58 on that trend line, but that one has been broken before. Now moving on towards the latest news, and what we get to see here on the latest news is that on the 31st, there has been a bit of decrease in terms of shares, around 44% for this company here. I'm not sure how many shares increased over there, but for the sake of it, I would probably think it's around 20. So value change is 100%. So yeah, they bought almost 3,000 shares at 0.26 cents. Now, just a reminder, the price is sitting in at 0.59, so that must have been some kind of offering moving on forward on it. In terms of latest news, not a lot that we're seeing here other than all the way back to the 24th. There is the earning estimate, so the previous earnings that we've received on the actual estimate. So last one was missed, the one before was beat, and the one before was met. So with COVID, I probably still estimate that it probably would get a little bit closer to there, but their earnings is sitting on a little bit far off. So my actual portal is telling me that the earnings is happening in on the 18th. Um, so it's ATNM on the 18th after market. It's quite a bit to go. So if you want to look at different catalysts, you might find it in my other DD. But what I would do in terms of this stock and how I'll play it, I would want to see if it actually does still hold that 0.58 mark for a day or two. But I would also want to see that MACD getting rejected in terms of a negative reversal, and it bounces back. If it does bounce back, that might be a chance to buy. But for the time being, it looks a little bit too scary to hold, and I might consider selling. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure you mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day.